9 knockouts, 11 submissions, 3 decisions. Is Dricus Du Plessis any good? DDP is a fighter who lets looks be deceiving. I'll just come out and say it because nobody else on YouTube will. He does not look cool when he fights. I'm sorry. But he does win. That much is true. Back in the 2010 era, Anderson Silva was capturing the attention of the mainstream with his KO abilities and Matrix-level defense. But today we find ourselves with a middleweight champion who the public believes will always lose his next fight. This just has to be the one he loses, right? Because they simply can't see the bigger picture. The casual TikTok fan base trying to make sense of combat is truly something to behold. But not us. We are the purveyors of gladiatorial magnificence. We are MMA YouTube. I digress. The madness Dricus creates in the cage isn't so much as a thing of beauty, but rather a spectacle of slop, leaving you in complete awe at how he's made it to the championship level looking the way he does. A humble South African man putting it all on the line in every fight. What is not to love? So Dricus may not be the perfect ambassador for striking technique, footwork, or a beautiful looking flow state, but what he has works. And he makes it work. He's a scrappy and intelligent champion. And he needs to keep evolving, just like every other fighter, because his division is quite top-heavy. With surging prospects now log-jamming the top, he will be returning to a hungry pack of wolves. I'm sure Hamzat, Baralho, Imavov, and even Anthony Hernandez would all love a crack at taking away his title. The goofiness and plot armor of Dricus Du Plessis requires heavy analysis. So kick back and relax as I attempt to thoroughly make sense of still knocks. Dricus Du Plessis, a relentless champion, trained in judo, wrestling, and kickboxing, who simply refuses to quit. Strike accuracy, 49%. Strikes landed per minute, 6.1. This just shows Dricus' willingness to really get down and dirty, seriously. He is the farthest thing from gun-shy. Strikes absorbed per minute, 4.9. And as a result, he gets hit a lot. I'll speak on his overall toughness throughout the video, but remember this, all of his opponents land on him. He's just made of cement. Takedown average, 2.5. Submission average, 0.7. Takedown accuracy, 50%. Strike defense, 54%. Takedown defense, 50%. Small sample size, don't count this. I'll have to go back and check, but I think he genuinely tripped in the Till fight and they gave Till a takedown. Knockdown average, 0.4. And an average fight time of 13 minutes, 45 seconds. And this is how Dricus Du Plessis is most likely to win a fight. By out-goofying his adversary, forcing technical fighters into brawlers, and being too tough for a brawler to finish. By having an answer for everything. And this man deserves a ton of credit for producing 20 finishes. That's 9 KOs and 11 submissions. That's tidy work and makes for an exciting champion, which Dricus is. Strengths are ironclad defense, powerful kickboxer, and underrated chokes. Weaknesses are eats a lot of punches, and yet to fight a pure wrestler. And no, I'm not counting Derek Brunson. DDP wins by making the fight confusing and ugly from the very start. He creates a technical brawl, which favors him and his exceptional toughness and versatility. He's hard to engage in a traditional point battle, and even harder just to hurt him with any strike. Dricus is yet to take an L in the UFC, but that's not to say he will never lose. His opponents haven't been able to deal with the problems he presents, but there are plenty of up-and-coming middleweights that I think could take him on. The cold hard truth is that he's fought nothing but strikers. So he's been allowed to run his usual kickboxing game, but then also be this pseudo-wrestler in the background. Against a proper grappler, he won't get this luxury. We need to see the Hamzat Chimaev fight to really know if he can beat any style. Nobody has come out and tried to take Dricus down yet from the opening bell, and that might be what it takes to finally get him beat. Best performance, his upset over Robert Whittaker. Going into this one, we knew Whittaker didn't have the highest hit points, especially after sacrificing his body in the Yoel Romero fights. But he did have all the skills to deal with Dricus, or so we thought. Dricus shocked the world with this one and proved his game is more than elite, but capable of giving championship-level opposition serious issues. His best win to date by far. Most fun, his shit show against Darren Till. After 10-8ing the bloated alcoholic Darren Till, DDP semi-gassed out and the fight became somewhat competitive. Till looked like a shell of his former self and Dricus was winded trying to get his breath back in the second round. He eventually just body-checked Till over, fell into mount, and won via face crank. Notable wins, Israel Adesanya. Now, Dricus wasn't afraid to just go for it in this fight, and that's what I love about him. He didn't care about looking the most clean and efficient, and just accepted that he needed to make it ugly with Adesanya. Former opponents have tried to play technical with Izzy, and all throughout his career, he just makes it look like a cakewalk. He's too good at range. These two went tit for tat for the first 2 rounds, but once the 3rd round came along, they both got a bit more urgent. But yet again, DDP excels against pure strikers. His awkwardness gives them issues with making reads, and the power keeps them on edge the entire fight long. Izzy just never really committed to a sequence that would produce a finish in this fight, while Dricus was always looking for heavy damage. He wins by getting his opponent down late in the fight when they are both exhausted, and won by face crank again. The Sean Strickland fights were honestly not that impressive to me. Not many Strickland fights are. Dricus was able to find success just having more to his toolkit. Sean doesn't bring enough weapons into his fights, and he rests on what he's best at, the jab and the teep kick. Dricus is the opposite. He'll go into the unknown and adapt each round, and a guy like Strickland just isn't willing to take those risks. One notable loss in Dricus Du Plessis' career came against a KSW knockout artist, Roberto Soldic. However, it's worth noting that these two are 1-1, with Dricus having finished Soldic just 6 months prior in their first bout. At the time, both were young, hungry prospects, and the rematch happened immediately after their first encounter. In their first fight, Dricus found success using his wrestling to control Soldic, but in the rematch, Soldic maintained his distance and eventually landed the knockout blow. It should be mentioned, Roberto Soldic is still a very dominant fighter at 21 wins, 4 losses, with 18 knockouts. He's now competing in 1 championship. I've seen a lot of talk about Dricus Du Plessis getting lucky, not having the best cardio, etc. But his adaptability and finishing potential isn't spoken about hardly enough in comparison. He has ways to beat almost any style, and he's proven that. But I find he does his best work against a pure striker, where he's too composed to get caught and can change levels at any moment and use his raw strength to wrestle heavy. It'll be interesting to see how he fares against a power grappler like Khamzat Chimaev or a varied strategist like Caio Borralho. He has a lot of fun title defenses moving forward. We're finally done with the tit-for-tat Strickland saga. So who will it be to crack through the plot armor of Dricus Du Plessis? Will it be Khamzat Chimaev, Caio Borralho, or Nasruddin Imavov, or somebody else? Dricus Du Plessis is A tier. As always, thank you for watching. Drop your favorite Dricus moment down below. MMA makes no fucking sense, but I'm out here trying to put it all together. Until next time.